Hello and welcome to the Combinations podcast, the podcast from North Staffordshire Combined Healthcare NHS Trust. And today we are going to be talking about a new portal that's come to Combined, which is the Combined Wellbeing portal. And I've got an array of guests today who are going to be helping and explaining what this portal is and what the benefits are, as it is available for everybody. So you as a listener can use this portal if you'd like. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves with your name and who you are, basically.
I'm Julia Ford and I'm the clinical digital lead leading on development of the Wellbeing portal.
I'm Claire Lamb. I'm occupational therapist for the community learning disability team.
I'm Dr. Bindu Purnamodan. I'm consultant psychiatrist in North Staffordshire CAMS team.
I'm Donna Cantrell. I'm senior service manager for the Acute and Urgent Care Directorate.
I'm Veronica Emlyn, patient experience facilitator and volunteer coordinator at the Trust.
Hi, I'm Claire Constantine. I'm the manager for the mental health support team, so that's the team working in schools, but I've also been supporting the development of the portal since it started as well.
Perfect. So we have a wide range of guests from all backgrounds by the sound of it, but we're all come together today to talk about the Combined Wellbeing portal. But my first question is, what is the Combined Wellbeing portal? Who can describe it the best?
So the Wellbeing portal is a resource that's been developed by Combined Healthcare through some specialist funding in terms of developing resources to improve the well-being of our population initially within North Staffordshire. It also was there to improve accessibility to services, and originally as part of the National CAMS strategy, it was about identifying the most appropriate services at the right time, but also more importantly to look at making sure that children and young people got the right services at the right time. We also know nationally that around about 80% of referrals were signposted on to other services other than your specialist child and adolescent mental health service. So again, we were very keen as a trust to look at developing such an evidence-based resource so that people could be enabled and empowered to go on to the resource themselves online, to be able to find as much information about different presentations as possible to help them and prepare them sometimes before, for going on to other services, but also to identify the most appropriate service. And we had the vision also of those self-referrals as well, which were launched during, I think it was 2020.
So correct me if I'm wrong, what it sounds like this portal has been developed for what sounds like children and young persons to go on and identify what strategies and maybe the route to services. Am I wrong, or is it more than that, or is it just a tool that allows them to access services without needing referral to any other NHS services?
I think the whole idea was that there is one central area where young people and their families could go for information, learn more about services being available, look at what they are struggling with, and seek what services were available locally and nationally, and find information. So I think from how it started as a digital portal for young people has developed into a really good combined well-being service across whole of the trust. And I was lucky enough to have been involved from the beginning of this project when we started pre-COVID, really, with online referral systems and also information, providing information which is easily accessible to young people and their families and other professionals like schools, and how we can almost like, moving with the times, because everyone was becoming online and digital, and information was widely available, but this was also providing information which was more accurate and correct rather than just Googling some, for a diagnosis or putting in their symptoms and finding out what they have. So this is more about supporting young people with the right information at the right time, like Julia has said, and redirecting in some cases, and also helping them access our service more readily. So the information was provided in a language which was appropriate for their developmental age, and also for professionals as well to access more information if need be. And I think it's a good resource, and a lot of young people are accessing it. And it's also something that parents are accessing to seek support. So I think it's and it's over time. I think it's developed across other areas like LD, CAMS LD, substance misuse, general adult. So it's become more wider than CAMS now.
So what it sounds to me is it's a trusted site that we can go and search for reliable answers. As you mentioned, Google there. I'm a criminal when it comes to Googling things. I don't typically do medical conditions because I know it's never helpful. It always gives you the worst of the worst, or whatever Google actually wants to give you. So as a platform, it's going to supply, as you said, parents and children with options, and maybe look at going into this sort of service. So there's lots of benefits. Do any of you know any more benefits that you think that should be shared about this platform?
I'd like to just share one of the things from a patient facilitator point of view was the information that says for carers on the Wellbeing portal was actually co-produced by carers with carers, and that was a really important aspect for ourselves in involving people who've either been through some of these processes as a carer, or actually were still going through some of those processes, be that whether it was your child or your husband or your partner or whoever, but actually having those sessions and looking at what they felt they wanted to see and what would have helped them through their journeys at the time was a really important and valuable piece of work. So actually the suggestions and some of the resources are on there have come from those carers directly. So for that for me was a really important factor of that co-production in what's needed.
I guess on the back of Veronica's comment, I suppose from a learning disability perspective, I think one of the positive aspects for our team is that we've got 4 expert by experience advisors who are currently working in our team, and 2 of our experts have been heavily involved in devising some of the actual client information because they've got the lived experience. So that's been absolutely fantastic that the information that is there on the client section has actually been devised by our experts with obviously support from ourselves. So again, that combination of having all involved has been really beneficial, and I think we're seeing the development of that portal being involved with the experts, which has been a brilliant piece of work, really.
So what I'm getting from this is it's a portal, it's a page that you can learn about what sounds like mental health. And I know that you're all sort of experts in the mental health sector, and I guess I am too, but if I wasn't in this job, I would have been very clueless. So it sounds like this is like, I want to say a yellow pages for mental health to sort of point you in the right direction. And I think it is something that we do need. But we've talked about this portal, how good it is, what are the benefits, and how it's going to, change the perspective of mental health. But how do we access it? How do we get to this? We've said that it's for everybody, but where is it? Where's it hiding?
Okay, so it can be accessed via a URL link, and it's available online as well. So yeah, that's how you can access it.
Right, well, we'll leave a link in the description of this podcast, and you'll be able to click on that and find it. If any of you know the URL off the top of your head, you could say it now, but if it's a long one, I don't think we'll be able to do it, but we'll leave a link in the description. Is it Googleable? Can you Google Combined Wellbeing Portal? You're all nodding.
You can,
yeah.
And the link is https://combinedwellbeing.org.uk/ all lowercase.
And if you struggle to hear that, I'll leave a link in the description for you. So
I think as well, Kyle, can I just say, I know you're saying about mental health, but it's a portal for all. So, we've got to say that some children with a learning disability, some children, adults, they may not all have mental health difficulties. They may have other issues that combined healthcare support. So, you know, the Learning Disability Portal, they will have sections with topics such as anxiety and depression, but it may be some other generic information as well. So all not necessarily all around the mental health.
No, and I'd just like to echo really what Claire was saying, because actually it was the vision, as you know, from the original remit did expand into helping people to revolutionise their care really by digital, by choice. So that was how we were able to widen it out to people with learning disabilities and to adults. And as Claire rightly says, it's a resource that's there, that's available for their carers and parents and wherever else that these people get their support from their support network, to get the most clinically evidence-based, up-to-date information about any of the needs that might need to be met, and also being able to signpost to the right national networks, local networks, and all of those support services as well as, which I don't think we mentioned, but it's about a self-help, so those evidence-based self-help skills that you can access as well.
Yeah. What's interesting is I've over the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know if it's just because of my knowledge of like sort of how things work, but a lot of my friends have come to terms with having learning disabilities or even mental health issues, and just saying what Claire was just saying about how the portal's developed to also help people that don't have what we would class as a mental health issue. And I think it's one of those things that I think we have needed for a while, because I had a friend who paid a lot of money to try and find out more about his trying to think which one it was now. I think it was autism, and he wanted to find it out because it affects him in his workplace, and he wanted to really get to the bottom of why he acts the way he did. So, but obviously he went through tests, and I don't think he ever found his answer, but there was nothing like the Wellbeing portal when he was searching. So it's good now to know that there's a trusted site, I guess you could call it, to say, if you've got any questions, go have a look at the Wellbeing portal and see what you can dig up, and see if there's anything locally or anything on there that can help you find your answer. So now obviously we've talked about the benefits, we now know where to find the portal. Have any of you got any success stories that you'd just like to talk about, that you've used this with clients or service users or anything?
We haven't had successes as such, Kyle, but what we have done is made sure within the schools, because my team have access to a lot of children and young people who may not have a mental health need that needs to go to a mental health service, but just sometimes, because it's a lot of self-help, a lot of guided information, what we do is when we do go into the schools, we share it with far and wide in the schools. So whilst I couldn't pinpoint a particular child who might have accessed it, I can tell you that because we've got a pupil population of 30,000 children, that the information is getting out there, that this portal is there to help you. If you don't feel like you're able to ask for help, you can go to this website to find help without having to speak up, if you like, because a lot of stigma attached to mental health. So some young people might be using it that way, but it's all anecdotal stuff because they don't tell you that they've done that. But I'm sure that there will be in time some people that say, I have accessed it and it did help me.
So we've had a number of children, young people come through the portal into the all age access service and our crisis care service, which has been fantastic to see, really, because it means that the portal's working and children have been able to get the right help at the right time by the right service quite quickly. So I think that in itself is a huge success, that the portal is being utilised and the referrals are being made into services.
Okay, just to follow on from what Donna was saying on the referrals, it's definitely getting out there, which is great, because we've seen a significant increase month by month again since April onwards, but I can share that information with you later. But I just wanted to share one, a very informal kind of success story, really, and it came about completely informally within my social life. So somebody made contact with me who I know, who's a grandma, and she was in bits because her daughter had been advised by the school teacher that day to make an appointment with a GP to go and get their son seen by the GP to make a referral to CAMHS. Anyway, without going into obviously personal information, I asked if it was something that they were aware of. Was it something that he'd ever disclosed before? Anyway, signposted into the Wellbeing portal, and you know, that young person then was able then to go and look on the portal and get the right services, which wasn't CAMHS, and they were absolutely overjoyed in a way that they didn't have to they had to come through to CAMHS, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was wonderful, because actually even the teachers had said, and it's not one of our mental health support team schools either, Claire. So, but it was one of them. It was a school that obviously they didn't know what to do, but now they're aware of the Wellbeing portal. So hopefully the word will spread.
So that's good to hear that we've got some successes from it already, because it's not been going very long. I think one of you mentioned earlier that it was around COVID when it first properly came out, and that's nice to hear that we've already got some sort of promotion from it. And it sounds like that it just needs to go around the schools first, get it out there, teach the children about what the Wellbeing portal is, and then hopefully they'll tell their parents, and it will just spread like a wildfire. So that's, you know, good to hear.
Yeah, I think schools are the key here.
Yeah.
I think schools, the teachers, and you know, they would be able to, you know, help children access these websites as well if they are in school at the time, and again spread the word really to parents, parents of children under their roles really. So yeah, I think schools have got an important role. And when we first meeting, we had school representation as well in all those meetings, along with the digital tech people, you know, who do these wonderful things of creating websites and links and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Obviously, from a learning disability perspective, we want to capture sort of our group homes. So Julia and the team have provided the posters and the pads. So duty clinicians are able to sort of any clinician can take the pads out to the group homes. So some of the clients who were unable to access the portal themselves could be encouraged to use that with their, you know, paid carers or family members, etc. So it's just about them publicising it to all, isn't it? So hopefully it'll be a good resource for everybody.
No, I've not seen the portal myself, but can any of you describe what sort of language it's written in? As in, like, obviously, because it's got to be a viable source, so there will be clinical knowledge on there. But as, let's say, if I was looking for an answer and I didn't know a lot about what I was looking for, is it written in a way that I would understand, or is it a bit of both worlds? Does it have like quick tips on there? How is it written for the users?
I was just going to say, I think it's really easy to use. I'm not that computer literate and find my way around all different things, but actually you go in, you can choose adult, children, professional, parent, carers. So you click on that, it takes you through. What I really like as well is some of the questions you might have in your head are also in the little boxes on some of the areas. You click on that, that's all you need to do. So for me, I found it a really easy portal to find my way around, actually. Once you work out that you click on the box, because they're always sometimes wonder, do you click on the words or do you click on that? But actually it's really, and for me, I will say, and for what I've seen, there's a lot of common sense there. That it's sensible what you need to do. And I think I know there's been lots of success and young people accessing it. I think adults, if you know, could use it very easily. And what I like as well is that there's information there that if you're waiting to go into a service as an adult, there's information you can find. There's other support networks there that possibly you can opt into. But also, if you're coming out of services, there's information to help you continue your recovery and that kind of thing as well. So I just think really very straightforward. It's got to be straightforward because I've used it.
I was going to say, Kyle, I can give an example. So from in the learning disability portal, in the client section, we've got an easy read information guide around positive behaviour support. So it uses more pictorial images and easy read language. And then we've got the same clinician actually then did what is positive behaviour support for professionals and carers. So that's at a higher level. So, you know, we've got two same topics, but pitched at different levels.
Yeah, and to add on to that, for younger children, I think the language is very child friendly and that they can relate to, and the videos are also quite, there's something that they can relate to. So I think it's pitched at the right level for young people, and also professionals and parents around them.
I'd like to add that we were really careful in the original vision that we wanted to make the information as user-friendly as possible, because we were very conscious that lots of unrecognised words and difficult to understand language is sometimes used in the clinical and medical profession. So we were really keen to make sure that we avoided diagnostic language, but also to talk about rather the presentation in an understandable way rather than actually labelling it. So that's what I think it was really important, and that's carried on working with closely with Donna's team. That was something that you were keen to develop into the adult accessibility and the content development, weren't you? And the same with Claire. Don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that, you two.
I think it's really important that we're now developing the adult part of the portal, is that we have the opportunity, and I think the Wellbeing portal will do that for the area, is to provide that education for all. So for children, carers, families, professionals, adults alike, it's educating, because we know that mental health, learning disability, and all range of aspects are on the increase, and if we can provide people with information that they can readily access and understand, it'll certainly improve their chances of getting the support a lot quicker. So I think it's really, really important that whatever we do is easily understood by everybody that wants to access it, and we can sort of attract them to that website and get them sorted a lot quicker.
So it's good to hear that there's a lot of accessibility in terms of language. I know by just how I work, I like looking at pictures. I would probably, for it described to a child and read all the words. For me, it's just a lot easier. So I'm a visual learner. So it's nice to hear that there is the option to go into the different types of, I want to say genres, but that's not the word I'm looking for, but the different levels of information, which is good. Another thing that we should just bring up is actually the name of it. We're sharing this to people. We don't want it to sound clinical or sound like they've got something wrong with them. The fact that it's like combined wellbeing, it's just, everyone has good wellbeing or just wellbeing in general. So as a name, I think it's definitely something that's not going to be, looked for, oh, you're on the combined wellbeing portal. They're actually, it's not going to have a stigma to it. So it's also something else to bring up. It's just, it's just a nice little name for it. So obviously, is there any more information? I know that the portal itself has links to external sites, which I think correct me if I'm wrong, does it go to different university studies, or does anyone want to bring up the external sites?
Okay, so I think it's important to say as well that we've got a clinical governing process in place that's been approved by all the trust senior management team, but it's so that we make sure that we put the right links in that we have validated, and as clinicians we're happy to share. So yes, there are access to really good sound national sites and links and websites where people can really get some help to maintain their well-being, to look at, like Veronica said earlier, that maintain their recovery, but also to be able to prevent themselves from becoming, unwell, but to stay well with the information that they've got.
And these are being developed. I mean, it's not like we've developed something and that's the end of it. It will be revised as and when new information becomes available, and that can be added on. So it's a work which would keep on developing and include more new information when that becomes available.
Right, so that is the Combined Wellbeing Portal now. My next or last question to all of you is, what's next for the Combined Wellbeing Portal? Where's it going to go in Combined and around the schools and around everywhere? What's next for the portal?
I guess for me, Kyle, I think it is quite exciting. I've got a meeting planned with the whole of the Learning Disability Directorate, and to develop further topic sheets to look at other media resources. So, as you were just saying about the images, we want to use, what's it called? I've gone. We want to actually use audio. So actually someone reading the actual topic sheet. So if someone has got poor literacy skills, they've still got that opportunity to get that same information. So again, we want to use our expert by experience to actually do the recording. So there's lots of, I think, exciting opportunities for further developing, because this is an ongoing, as Bindu's just said, this is ongoing, it's continually developing, it's going to be updated, further topic sheets to be devised, and also links within, I guess, other teams. The other exciting thing for myself is that I'm just in the process of meeting, and I think Donna is as well, with Daedalus team in relation to the e-referral for adults and learning disabilities. So again, bringing it up to as the CAMS site is already. So I think for me that's quite exciting.
And the other thing is, I'm hoping that it would, more and more young people and their families would be able to use the portal and benefit from it, as with other, adult and the adult LD population. But more than that, I'm also, very mindful that, yes, there have been other trusts who've developed this much before us, which, when we are originally doing this, we thought, okay, there are some other really good models. But I'm hoping that in future people would say, oh, Combined has got a really good model that we can follow. So I'm hoping that, this would develop and become a good source of resource, not just for Staffordshire, but from across the region and even nationally.
And I'll just add as well that there's talks already going wider to the wider, system in terms of making this portal accessible in other ways for, other services outside of North Staff's Combined Healthcare. As we know, it's a global resource and anybody in the world can access the information. But in terms of people getting the right services for their area, it's about expanding that and sharing that with our neighbours as well as nationally. So there are talks in place for that. So that's really positive and very exciting. And the other thing is, we've had conversations all the time in terms of how we move it forward. We've got to really embed the governance process that's been agreed so that the people of Combined Healthcare actually own this portal and want to develop more and create more content. It's exciting that Daedalus, before they finish the project, are going to develop and are working exactly as we speak now on an area on the portal about resources that are available, templates for topic creation. We've got templates now following the Thrive model, but we're also going to have templates for professionals, for frequently asked questions, and just general information as well, so that services can put their service descriptions on. There can be role descriptions, so what to expect if you are coming in to service. So what does a nurse do? What does an OT do? What's speech and language? All of those things. So there's huge amounts of area of development, and this is just the beginning of the beginning. And whilst it's been really great to work with all the clinicians across the trust, and we've worked very hard and very tirelessly over the last few years, and it's really commendable that it's brought us everybody together, because we've all got the same common intention and vision, which is about making services available for our population, and to also provide evidence-based information for mental health and wellbeing, and learning to stay well as being enabled and empowered to look after your own wellbeing.
So that has been a good insight to the Combined Wellbeing Portal. We've got it from all different perspectives, and we've learned how far this portal is going to go and how useful it's going to be for everybody. It sounds something that's needed to be developed for years, and we've got it now, so we can just keep sharing it on. So thank you everybody for joining me and explaining what this portal has done, how it works, and just promoting it so we can get it out there, so the next person who ever needs a question answering has got now a source that they can go to. So thank you for joining me. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle, for this. But I would also like to take this opportunity to thank everybody, and also the wonderful IT skills of Daedalus and the IT group before that. So they've all worked really hard with the clinicians and with the group in creating it. So I think thanks to them as well.